What's up, everybody? Today, Jason and I are talking everything Instagram stories. So we're super excited to be here to answer your questions. Remember, if you just post a comment about anything that we're talking about, we will definitely get to them. We're going to wait just a few moments while people come on. Jason, do you have any words?
Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, depending upon where you are watching. Super pumped. We had a lot of fun last week. We talked about pretty much a wide array of things, from Facebook advertising and geographic farming. And then today I'm pumped. We're going to really get into a very specific topic. Jonathan and I prepped a little bit about being a bit more focused in terms of, hey, what are we going to talk about today? What's the specific thing? Again, I don't want to discourage anybody from posting questions. Like, we want to keep stockpiling the questions and then just create content, answer questions, and help people create better marketing in the real estate business or whatever kind of a business you are running right now. So totally leave us comments. Today, we're going to plan on going deep into Instagram, specifically stories. I'm guessing we'll probably verge outside of just stories, Jonathan. We'll talk a little bit about
Definitely.
other Instagram stuff too, but I'm excited about today's content. I really am. It's going to be fun. So that's my word.
Sweet. Well, we have a couple of people that have come on so far. Andrea, good to see you. Tony, good to see you. Trish, Joe, Brandy, good to see you as well. Again, if you're logging on, make sure that post a comment so that way we know that we're not talking to ourselves at the moment.
Here, I'm going to post a comment.
Say that again.
I'm posting a comment. Good morning.
Oh, there you go. Andrea, good morning to you. The comment is working. We are good to go. So do you want to jump into it, Jason?
Let's jump into it. So, like, one of the questions we sort of wrapped up with last week was really around how do I make the most of Instagram, specifically stories? And so you and I kind of did a quick little sidebar chat this morning. And I think what would make the most sense is for us just to run down a list of some tactics or strategies that I mean, some of these are going to be really small, simple strategies. Some of these are going to be big, require some research and planning strategies. But I think at the end of the day, it's like Instagram's this massive platform. People are asking me, like, when I'm speaking at different events, I'm getting asked, what's the platform to really try to be relevant on? And of course, Facebook still matters, YouTube, LinkedIn, all that stuff is like absolutely critical. But I'm just very excited personally about everything happening in the Instagram space. There's a lot of great features. There's a lot of excitement and hype. And so what I want to do, what I hope we can do together today is really help people explore what those options are. So let's just kind of do ping pong, Jonathan. We'll go back and forth with some ideas. First one, really actually, you know what? I'm going to ask you because you've got some stuff ready to talk about what is a story. That's probably the best to start. So I'm going to actually ping pong ball what am I saying? I'm going to give you the torch.
You're going to blah, 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 blah.
La, 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 la. All you.
Got it. So I did pull together a Word document here. I am not taking credit for this entire document. However, it is something that I can send to you should you want it. And this is talking about how exactly you can post an Instagram story, because some people are definitely not even using Instagram stories. So before we start going into highlights and stickers and all of these crazy things, I think that it does make sense to figure out how to post. Can you see my screen okay, Jason?
Yeah, it's full screen. You got it. You're good.
Okay, awesome. So obviously, like we said, Instagram stories are super huge. But if you don't know how to use them, these are going to be just some basic tips. Don't worry, we're going to go a little bit further beyond basic tips. So if you already know how to post to stories, don't log off now. Stay tuned. We'll talk about highlights. We'll talk about stickers, polls, and all these other cool things that you can do to make your stories even better. But first off, if you're just now learning how to post a story, it's super easy. If you go into your Instagram app, all you have to do is tap on that camera icon that's in the top left-hand corner. And from there, you'll open up the Instagram stories feature. Once you're there, you're going to see all of these different things about whether you want to type, which is actually putting text on your screen. If you want to go live, like I'm going live now. If you just want to do a normal photo or a normal video, and there's other features that you can do. If you tap the white circle, which is just like taking a picture, you could take a picture. If you hold the white circle, you could take a video. It's super easy. What's also key that I do want to point out is you don't have to actually take the photo or take the video within that actual app itself. You could use photos or videos that you've already recorded. I'm on a mastermind call on Tuesday mornings, and one of the people said, how do you just go around, Jonathan, 24/7 with your Instagram app pulled out, just taking pictures from the Instagram app? And I told her, I don't think anybody has the time to do that. If you're taking just regular photos or videos on your phone, you are able to use those as well. Does that make sense, Jason?
It does. And I'll add this too. Like some people, like you might use a photo you took of your kid or whatever, or a house 2 days ago, and it will put a big date on it, the timestamp when the photo was taken. All you have to do is put your thumb on that date and then drag it down, and a trash can will appear, and you can actually get rid of the date. So that's just point of the story is, you don't have to snap the photos or videos inside of the story wizard. You can do it on your, just use your iPhone, like a normal camera, like a normal picture or whatever.
Definitely. So yeah, that's essentially how that's exactly how you would, open up the Instagram Stories app. It's, in the actual Instagram app, and you can tap on that icon in the top left, or you can just swipe right from the, from any photo or video that you're currently watching, and that'll open up the Instagram Stories feature, which will allow you to start doing tons of different things.
Yeah, they're multimedia. So it can be photos, videos. There are things called stickers and fun stuff. There are different, like you can do the super zoom, and we'll talk about a lot of those fun little kind of gizmos and features that you can utilize inside of when you're creating your stories inside of Instagram. But let's do some quick tips real quick. So let's assume for a moment that people now understand at a baseline level what is an Instagram story. There are little snippets of your day that you post throughout your day. You're telling the story bit by bit by bit, versus a post. Like right now when you post on Instagram, you really shouldn't post more than once or twice a day, because you'll actually get penalized by the Instagram algorithm in terms of who sees that content, because they don't want to overexpose you to your followers. But on stories, it's the total opposite. You can post all day. In fact, you're better off the more you do. Ping pong, my serve. First one is tag your location when you're doing an Instagram story. There's these things called stickers. When you're inside I know we're describing this, I wish I could show it to you. When you're inside the story's creation, like you click the little camera on Instagram in the top left, you're creating your story or whatever, you take your picture, whatever it is, or you add a picture. On the top right, there are some white icons. One is like a little square face emoji. It's the stickers. You click that, and one of the options is location, and then it puts a location stamp wherever, like there. Now, here's the hack. Actually, you don't have to be where you are per se when you do, like, oh, good, you're showing some stuff. Awesome. Nice job. You don't have to be where you say that you are when you tag your location. So, for example, now you could be deceptive with this. So don't be deceptive. Like if you weren't at the Glasgow concert series, don't say that you were. But like I've actually posted things before where I'm no longer at a place where I was doing business. Like if I'm speaking in Boston or whatever, but I can actually do a story and say, yesterday was an epic event, loved speaking in Boston. I could tag Boston as if I were there, even if I'm not there. So the first tip I'm giving is tag your location. All right, that's my serve, Jonathan. You're up. What do you got? Does that make sense, by the way, man? We totally lost your audio. Or you lost mine. Which one was it?
No, it's because I put myself in the lobby so that way I can show the story.
Well,
got it.
We're glad to have you out of the lobby. Did that make sense, man, on tag and location? That's a tip?
Yeah, definitely made sense. I think what's key to point out is when you're tagging your location, what is super cool is the fact that you can get discovered in other people's stories.
That's right.
So for instance, if I'm at Disneyland and I take a picture in front of the Disneyland castle and I'm standing next to Mickey Mouse, well, great, I have a phenomenal photo. But if I, swipe up and hit the location sticker and I say that I'm at Disneyland, now for people that are viewing and exploring stories that Disneyland has, I will show up in those stories as well. So it's kind of similar to how Snapchat works, where you can kind of figure out who's at what places and whatnot. Instagram does that does the exact same feature. And it's super cool because when you have an Instagram business page, not only, and we'll get into this, and I have a screen that I can show you, but when you have an Instagram business page, you can see how many people are viewing your story, what demographic is viewing your story, and you can also see how many times people are viewing your stories via, you know, if you tagged yourself at Disneyland, hey, they found you because you tagged yourself there. So tagging yourself is super huge. I am going to pull back my screen.
Real quick, Jonathan.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm actually doing an example. So I'm actually, like, you're in Huntington Beach, California right now. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm actually going to tag myself. I'm posting a story right now of us being live, and I'm going to tag myself at your office. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
So if anybody wants to hop on over to my Instagram account, they can. It's Jason Pantana, and you can see the story that I post and see how that works. All right, now, ball's in your court, man.
Well, I was putting your name
works.
Instagram, which is super easy because it's your name. I wish mine was that easy to show.
Yeah, but nobody can say my last name the right way. So
say that again.
Nobody ever says my last name the right way.
Oh, there you go.
That's the downside.
So I did show you the slide which talks about how you can actually post. Can you see my slide, Jason, where it says, how do I add a location?
Right now I see your story, but I may be a few seconds behind. Hang on. First tip I'm getting is tag.
Show you the slide which talks about how you can actually post. Now I think that I hear you.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries.
Volume button.
So it's super easy what Jason said, you know, as far as adding a location, all you have to do is whether you create a video or you're posting a photo, if you just tap on that smiley icon at the top left of your screen, that's going to bring up different things, or you could just swipe up from the bottom. That's going to open up what are called stickers. And from the stickers, all you have to do is just easily tap on that location sticker, and that'll give you the ability to add a location. I'm going to bring my story screen back up. So let me drop this out of the lobby, and I am going to bring up a couple of scenarios to talk about. Beautiful. So you're looking at my story. I posted these yesterday. It says, have you seen these? What about those? Those are all the different stickers you can choose from. You see that I'm doing lots of text. I'm putting, tons of different stickers. I'm giving you the ability to swipe up and go instantly to my Facebook page. Here I'm showing you a little bit of behind the scenes at our escrow office. There I'm actually sharing or adding Jason's story back onto mine. Here, I'm actually using somebody else's post and adding it to my story, and instantly it's giving them the credit and everything that they deserve. And I wanted to touch on this because I think that it's super cool, because a lot of people come and they start talking instantly about, how do I get actual content into my stories? How do I do these different things? 100% of it doesn't have to be your own posts and your own things, because there are going to be tons of posts that you see once you log on to Instagram that you instantly go, wow, that's super cool. Or, maybe a quote or something. And something that is super easy for you to do is if you go to that actual person's page, all you have to do is click the little, it looks like a paper airplane, like that envelope icon. And if you click that, it'll give you options to direct message it to somebody. But at the very top, it'll say add post to your story. So for instance, on this screen here, I went to her page and all I did was click on this specific post and clicked on that envelope and then posted it to my story. Now, the cool thing about it is once I post that onto my story, what I can do is I can add stuff onto it. So for instance, if you look at that actual story at the bottom, there's an actual, what would you call that? Like a bar graph? There's a slider.
It's a Likert scale, a sliding.
There you go. So, that one is super easy for, basically, she posted a quote that I like, and I put a scale, and I'm just trying to see exactly, what my audience thinks of that. And so that's just a good example of how you can use somebody else's post. You can add it into your story, but then you can make it engaging for your audience, which is super huge, because if you're just adding everybody's post, but you're not getting engagement, you're not asking questions, you're not getting them to do specific things, you're not taking full advantage of stories. You want to touch on that a little?
Yeah. So like that was actually on my list. That's a great one.
Sweet.
Telling stories. So at the end of the day, and this isn't really my tip here, but you want to use stories periodically throughout the day. That's going to be critical, because if you're doing it often throughout the day, what's going to happen is you're going to refresh to the left consistently. So it's going to be like if you're in Instagram and you see the little circles on the top of the screen, whenever you post a new one, you'll refresh over to the left of somebody's feed so they can see more of it. So what's going to be critical is like post stories often. When you're looking for what can I talk about on Instagram, this is a really good one, right? So reposting what people are already posting, it's a great tool. Adding to it, love the scales. I'm going to go to the next one. Can I jump to the next tip I want to give? Is that cool?
Definitely. Yeah.
So I would encourage you to encourage direct messages or DMs. So I'm thinking of, Yitzi, right? So he sells YITZI sells Tom's River. He sells real estate in Tom's River. And he's done really well at this. Whenever he gets a new listing, he has really great photography, videography of his listings or whatever. And he does the coming soon or just listed campaign, but he does it as a story as well. And he encourages, so it's like it's a video of a particular feature of the property or whatever. And then he says, DM me for all the details, or DM me for any questions that you might have. And what's happening as a result is people are like, okay, and they DM him. And what that's code for is, in real estate, that's an inquiry or a lead, so to speak. And so it's like when somebody direct message you and they're like, how many floors is this? How many bedrooms? Is it still on the market? When can I see it? That's lead generation right there. And so one of the challenges a lot of people face on Instagram is the swipe up feature, where you can direct to a web link or whatever, is only available to you if you have 10,000 followers. And a lot of people don't have 10,000 followers, including Yitzi. And so what Yitzi does is he encourages people to DM him instead, where they can send him a direct message and he can respond that way. He's still capturing people's contact information. So if you're using this, for instance, to promote your listings, you don't want to do that exclusively. But if you're using your Instagram partially to promote your listings, a great recommendation is tell people what you want them to do. And what you want them to do is to direct message you and say, can I go see this property, whatever it is. Yitzi told me back in August, he's averaging like 4 to 5 DMs a day off of doing this whenever he posts one of these things. Another way of looking at that is he's generating like 4 to 5 free leads off of his listings. Right now in the real estate market, you're seeing an increased days on market. And what that means is more opportunity as a listing agent to utilize, like expose your listings to the market as best as you can and utilize that opportunity to generate more interest, more what I call sign calls, where it's potential buyers who maybe they're going to buy it, maybe they won't, but they're going to inquire about it. So like in terms of Instagram as a business tool, one of the most direct applications for real estate professionals to generate leads off Instagram in their stories is encourage people to direct message you. It's an absolute inquiry. And again, the way Yitzi's doing it is he's doing like a little video walkthrough of a particular property, or it's a nice photo.
And his slides are actually on. I have his slides actually pulled up. You can see his story. You can see his story now. Yeah. Without me trying to look for too many, I just pulled up the first one, but that's his story. A great example for that specific story is, he's posting that just sold in his stories. And then in future posts on the stories, he's then, again, like Jason said, he's asking for people to send him a DM, to send him a direct message. And he's now starting that conversation.
Yeah, starting the conversation. And he's got a team of agents now who are able to help kind of manage the influx of those DMs. So like a lot of people are like, how do I use Instagram for lead generation? I would look at what Yitzi's doing. It's a great example of how to use your listings, and it benefits everybody. It benefits the seller because you're better marketing the property. It benefits you because you're generating leads for yourself or for your team. And it benefits the end buyer because they're just looking for more information and you can be that bridge. So I would say leverage the DM platform big time. It's a really powerful play. All right, man.
Definitely.
Got.
Yeah, so I was just going to bring up another example, which you can see, which a lot of people come and they start saying, well, I don't want to, post business, 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 business. I want to have, a mixture of this and a mixture of that. So what you can see on the screen right now is a picture of a cat. And that picture of a cat is coming from our good friend, Tammy Pack, who is also phenomenal in her stories and on Instagram. And Tammy Pack has allowed her audience, allowed her clients, allowed her friends, her sphere, everybody that is on her Instagram to see that Tammy Pack is not 24/7 business, business, business. The only reason that I want to talk to you is whether or not you want to buy or sell a house. And if you don't want to buy or sell a house, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to show you my life. What she's doing is she's giving you what I would call behind the scenes video image of her daily life, which is something that I do on my stories all the time. Why? Because one, it's my life. I love my life. I want others to see that, I am doing other things outside of real estate. And I also, want to show my son. I want to show us going to Disneyland. I want to show us going to the beach. And the reason that I want to show my audience that is because I do want them to realize that I am a real person just like them. Although some people either think that I don't work at all or they think that I work 24/7, whatever end of the spectrum you're on. It is super vital and important, to make sure that, we're not going to go into this right now, but basically, as far as, your family life and things of that nature, don't be afraid, to show those behind the scenes things. The way that you could do it in the real estate industry is, as you have a listing coming on to the market, again, let people know, hey, this thing is coming on soon. However, if you have specific questions, let me know, engage with the audience, not just in the stickers, but actually talk to them and talk into your camera as though you're talking directly to them. Hey, 123 Main Street, I just listed. It's going to take us 2 weeks to get it onto the market. However, I just wanted to show you a couple of things. Hey, what do you think we should do with this flooring? Hey, what do you think the paint color should be? Should we stage this room? Should we not? And, a lot of people say, we want engagement. We want engagement. We want engagement. Well, that's just a phenomenal way for you to engage. And whether you have one listing or 1,000, you can take that one listing and do so many things with it. When
Totally.
when it comes to behind the scenes, you can do, I don't know what the exact number is, probably 50 posts or so about, different things that are happening, not only things that are happening at the house, but you can also show them, what you're doing as far as marketing is concerned. You can show them, when you're there for photography. You can show them, when you're at your office and you're just cranking out phone calls. Those are times for you to show yourself and to allow your audience to see a little bit about yourself.
It's good, man. That's really,
So
really good.
I'm gonna scroll through these comments, make sure we're not missing anything. Andrea says, "Would love if you can send that." I am sure she's referencing that blog post that I was using. Yep. Deborah said, "This is wicked pissa, guys." I'm not sure what wicked pissa means, but thank you, Deborah.
Awesome. You're awesome.
And we have a Jacob that's joined us. We have Jason that's joined us. So Jason has joined us on a different page. So thank you, Christine, Lupita. There's tons of you that are popping on. Again, if you guys have questions about anything that we're saying, we're not going to know unless you actually post a comment. So if you have specific questions, if we're talking about things that you don't want us to talk about because you already know them, let us know. If we're doing things that you have, you need a better understanding, let us know. You were going to say something, Jason?
Yeah, I was going to jump in and I was going to say too, like, hey, even if it's not about Instagram, we're going to look back at the comment thread because a lot of you who are watching this did not watch it live. You're watching it later on. If there's another question you want us to cover in the future, Instagram or otherwise, just write it down. The theme so far of our little talk fest appears to be all things marketing. So we definitely, like, I don't know about you, man, but I really love doing the research, and we don't always know the answers, but I really love
Yeah.
researching it and getting the answers because,
Definitely.
you're totally geeks at heart. And this is what we enjoy.
When I was looking at one caveat on that, I was looking up some Instagram story stats, and I don't know the exact date that this blog post was posted. However, one of the stats was that Instagram surpassed Snapchat, and they have over 200 million daily users, which is probably even more now. And again, you don't have to go super, super crazy and start doing all these other techie platforms and buying this and automating that and do this, to get in front of your audience. Instagram has given you a phenomenal way for you to open up your phone, click on an icon, and start talking to essentially the world. And you can do it in so many different ways. So if you're that person that says, I can't do that, I can't learn this, I can't do this, whatever it may be, you're going to get better only if you start doing it. So open up the app, download the app if you don't have the app, open it up, start using it. Deborah says you have to speak Boston. Oh, so it's like a Boston slang thing. So okay, got it.
Deborah, I know Deborah.
Got it. Can you try and say this is wicked pissa guys with a Boston accent?
She knows I can't do it. So Deborah as well, we can't. All right, let's do this. Let me give one more tip, and you give one more. Does that sound good? And then we'll wrap for the day.
Sounds good.
Right, I got one more. There is a feature in Instagram, like you've probably seen me doing it sometimes. In fact, like this whole little chat fest between Jonathan and I started because there's a feature in Instagram, chat fest. That's my word for the day. There's a feature in Instagram called Live With. It's in Facebook too, but in Instagram, I like it better because it splits the screen. So you can invite someone to go live with you. And so like, for example, like you and I did this. What happened is I went live and then you started viewing, and then I can invite you to come into my live with me. It splits the screen. But what I really want to draw people's attention to is that in the top, like what happens on Instagram is when somebody's live, their little circle image at the top where the stories are says live, and it slides to the left. Instagram wants you to know people are live. But if you're live together, it will take Jonathan's icon and my icon and sort of overlay them together in that we're live together. Now, what am I getting at? Well, let's be frank about it. You have more Instagram followers than me. And so I can go live with you as an influencer and be exposed to your audience because like right now we're using Be Live, which means I'm on your Be Live stream. It's not my account. I just used a link. It doesn't work that way. But if I go live with you on Instagram, it's you and I both getting the exposure. So the recommendation is find somebody in your community. It could be somebody who's a restaurant owner. It could be somebody in the business place, the community. It could be somebody who works for the city or the government locally who has influence. Find people in your marketplace, talking to real estate agents who have influence, and invite them to go live with you. Now, the deal is they have to be watching. You have to start the live, and then you have to invite them once they're already viewing. That's the key. But when you do that, while you're live, for the time that you're live, it will show up as you're both live, which means all the people who follow that person that you brought to go live with you, you're now being seen by all their people. This is a growth strategy. So that's one more tip in terms of, and I'm bringing up live because you access Instagram Live from within the stories wizard or whatever you want to call it. Does that make sense, Jonathan?
Yes, definitely makes sense. And again, it's just another way for you to stop complaining about you don't know how to do all these different things. You don't know how to reach an audience. You don't know how to, get your voice heard. You click the live button, and like Jason said, a phenomenal strategy is go live with somebody else. You can go live with a business owner that's in your neighborhood. You can go live with a friend. You can go live with another agent across the country, and you can show your audience that, hey, I just don't work Huntington Beach. I'm connected to Miami, to New York, to Boston, to Texas, to Seattle. This is my audience. This is what you get when you hire me. You don't hire just this local realtor. You hire somebody that's connected to some of the best agents in the world. So that way we can bring, better everything to you. So my tip is going to be tip.
I'm listening.
Say that again.
I'm listening. I'm eager to hear it. What's your tip?
So my tip is a lot of people post Instagram stories, which is great. I see tons of stories go throughout the day. I see stickers. I see polls. I see sliders, dancing people, all these different things. But what most people do not do is they do not go back to see who viewed my stories, who engaged with my stories. Where is that engagement coming from? What demographic are my stories reaching? All of these different things are very easy to do. Most people just don't do it. So my tip is going to be, every now and then what you can do is you see all the different stories at the top. Well, if you just click on your actual picture, so click on yourself and your stories are going to pop up. What you can do is swipe up from your actual stories, and that's going to bring up all of your analytics. Who's viewing your story? What age range are these people in? What area are they located in? All of these different, if you posted a poll, you can actually see the results of the poll, and then you can actually reshare those results back onto your story. So it's almost like you used one story to create two different stories, which then once you put the results, depending on how the results are, that's a phenomenal way for you to ask a question. Hey, did you think that everybody was going to say that they enjoyed rain over sun? Because that was one of the polls that I did. And again, that's just another way for you just to continue that engagement. So I would advise that you go back into your stories, your own stories, swipe up and look at those analytics, look at who's viewing your stories, look at who's engaging with what specific things. And, you'll no longer have to ask the question, what does my audience like? Because you'll see, okay, if you have more people viewing this, more people engaging with that, if your age range is X, if your demographic is Y, you'll have all of those stats there. So that's my pro tip, which is to check out your own analytics.
I would say on top of that, I'm just going to add on top of that, like there's also an element of reciprocity. If you have people who are like your VIP in terms of they're the one who post, you should make a concerted effort to engage them directly too, because they're only going to become more engaged as a result of that, and then bring in other people into the tribe, so to speak. And so that could mean commenting on their posts. Like there are certain people who I've set up, I get notifications when certain people post because I want to be quick to leave them a comment. Now, I do that because A, I love and like these people and I appreciate their content, but I also do it because if I am good to their content and I engage with them, then they will also engage with me. It's just a human element of reciprocity. So I would say to you, like, know your analytics and engage with the people who engage with you. Make that effort. Make sense?
Definitely. Yeah. So that wraps it up. Again, whether you're watching currently or whether you're watching over the next week, if you have any questions, post them as a comment, whether they're Instagram stories, whether they're something else that you want us to talk about, post them. We can answer them. We do have exciting news. By next week, when we go live, we are going to be talking about our new page that we're creating, which Jason and I have put an ultimatum on ourselves. We'll be in Vegas next week, but we're not allowed to leave Las Vegas until we have another page set up. So we're definitely going to have that.
It may be horrible, but we're going to come up with something.
Something will happen over the next week. So if you have ideas about a name, if you have ideas about maybe a specific theme or layout or anything about this actual, what did you call it?
I call it Chat Fest, but I just had an idea. I'll tell you offline. I just had an idea.
Okay. So any last words, Jace?
You guys are awesome. Thank you for watching. For those of you who watch later on, thank you so much. Leave us a question. We love doing this. It's fun to help people in their businesses leverage social and digital to really make progress and growth from a lead generation standpoint in their business. Leave us a question. Let us know what matters to you. And thank you for watching. You guys are awesome. Have a great day.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram as well. Jason's handle is located below, and I just put mine up. We'll see you guys next week.
Awesome.
Coming from Vegas. Take care.
Adios. Bye.